All right, listening, part 2. So this chapter begins and focuses on the types of listening responses. The first of which is silent listening, which is exactly what it sounds like. So it's listening without giving any verbal feedback. Questioning, which is the most popular type of listening. So you ask sincere questions, and there are many reasons for doing so, as you can see listed here. But you always want to be careful about counterfeit questions, the question often in which the person who asked the question has a hidden agenda. Then paraphrasing, obviously attempting to put the speaker's words into your own. Here's some examples of those. You can pause and read them. So paraphrasing is very beneficial. It helps you to find out if your understanding is accurate. It's also a way of giving feedback and then getting a response so that you can adjust your understanding. It's very beneficial for a lot of different ways. So here you see that on 2 different levels, both the factual and the personal, and it's important to take the time to note the difference between these two. Empathizing is when you attempt to show the person that you're listening to that you can identify with how they feel. So it's not just about the content, it's about the feeling aspect of it. Listeners are not empathizing when you, hey, that's stupid, don't feel that way, if you've ever said that. If oh, that's nothing, that's like not even important. People have a whole lot worse situations than that. That's not empathizing. If you stage hog and bring it to yourself and otherwise, quote unquote, rain on their parade. Supporting, another style of listening, is very important. It helps to show that that person speaking is not alone. So it's very much solidarity. It's a lot about comforting and giving comfort. And both men and women can do supporting in their listening styles. However, they do it differently, and you can see some of those differences listed below. When is support beneficial? You have to be wise and able to discern when a supportive response is effective and when it's not. And so here are some criteria as to when it's beneficial. Analyzing. Analyzing is not evaluative, it's not a judgment, but it's a process of really attempting to dig down and to interpret. So it helps people consider alternative interpretations of the message. Sometimes it can create more problems, as you can see listed. Here are some suggestions for helpful analysis. And so be a little tentative. Don't just say, you know, absolutely, well, that means this, but rather offer, well, perhaps what you say Sally said meant something else, and you offer a different, interpretation. Evaluating, this is the part of judgment. This is sometimes definitely appropriate and needed. Certainly if you're listening to a presidential debate, you'll want to analyze and you'll want to reach an evaluation. When I'm listening to a student give a speech or a presentation, I can analyze, I can seek to understand, I can do a lot of things, but oftentimes it results in an evaluation. So that's pretty straight up. Some suggestions for advising, another type of listening response. And here are some very important ideas in terms of 3 conditions. Pay careful attention to the bottom here where it says when is listening not helpful, and you might want to carefully consider that. All right, before you get to the point of offering advice, these are some suggestions that are important. When you plunder on in, or you blunder on in, or you plow into somebody's conversation, into their life with advice on your lips, you can cause a lot of damage to your relationship if you're not aware of certain things. And so this is a very effective list of 6 items that you can listen for and look for before you step on any toes. When to use what style? How do you know which style of listening discussed in this section, what's appropriate when? Well, your book gives you some suggestions here, so it's important to consider that. A lot of it is being as aware of the nonverbal communication as you are of the verbal, of what is said, that you listen with your eyes as well as your ears, that you consider your own self in terms of what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, that you attempt to match that person's communicative style, that you don't overpower nor do you underpower. The suggestions on the slide are really interesting and very astute, and I suggest that you take the time and to consider them. All right, and that is the end of the chapter on listening. I will see you guys online.